Welcome back to Great Day. When you're born and raised in a community and then you choose to serve that community, you're never really gone, even though you were laid to rest. Just over a month ago, state representative turned mayor turned congressman Sylvester Turner unexpectedly passed away while serving in Washington, D.C. Many of us knew him in some capacity, but sometimes it's a memorial service and collective experiences where you get to know the most about someone. Perhaps the one who knew him best was his daughter, Ashley Turner.
My father loved this city, and I can tell from the outpouring of love that this city loved him too. He wasn't selfish with his time, talent, or resources. He lived his life as a servant, fighting for people, especially our children and seniors. Let my dad be the example of how to live life in your purpose. He has taught us that as long as you have breath in your body, you still have a purpose to fulfill.
And that purpose continues. Representative Turner set up a great day that families in his neighborhood of Acres Home have looked forward to for 17 years now. There was some concern that Family Fun Day in the park would not happen this year, but his daughter, Ashley Turner, Captain, is here to tell you that
it's definitely happening.
It's definitely
happening. Yes.
It's so good to see you
So
again.
good to see you too.
I mentioned earlier that sometimes at a memorial service you learn more about your parent than you ever thought.
Absolutely.
That you would
because
know.
You hear everybody's stories.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're like, I didn't know that, or that was one experience, or it's very. This whole process after his passing has been very therapeutic, but also it's just been nice to hear everybody's own experience with my dad
and reaffirming what you already knew. But we were talking in the green room. I first met him 30-something years ago.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe, 30, 38, something like that. But and I was covering the state capitol, which is the most confusing thing in the world for a new journalist. And I ran. I ran up the capitol. Yeah, you grew up in it, but I ran up the stairs. In fact, when I met him, you were -3 years old. You were 3 years away from being born. But I ran up the stairs, and I was a hot mess. And you were two men standing there, and he turned around, and looked at me, and goes, "Young lady, do you need some help?" And I was like, you can tell I need some help, don't you? But
yes, I do. Help me.
And I would always see him at the Capitol. I'd run over and say, "So what about this bill? Can you explain this to me?" And he'd say, "I suggest that this is the person who has sponsored the bill. I suggest you talk to the other person here who is fighting the bill, so you get both sides of the story." And I was like, "Okay, I love that man." And then of course I moved to Houston, and he becomes mayor. We worked together on several things. There's us at the mayor's tree lighting, which we looked forward to every year. So many
look
events.
At that smile.
Well, he had a smile that was so big, and he would celebrate all these great moments that the city collectively came together for.
Yeah.
And then the last mayor's tree lighting that he did, I sent him an idea of what I thought would be a great outfit. I believe we have this picture. I said, this picture looks. This would be great on you.
He looks amazing.
Yeah,
he looks amazing.
He did not wear the red sequin jacket, but he was like on my way to pick it up right now. But and you came on to Great Day Houston several years ago when we did a thing called Father's Day Confessions.
Yes.
And you had to sit down in front of your dad and confess something you did as a young girl.
I think I ran up the credit card.
And tried to act like he wasn't going to know.
Yeah, I think I ran up the credit card.
Yeah.
I think that was the one.
Yeah.
And then he said he saw the bill.
Yeah. He said,
later.
"I know that you know that I know what you did." Okay.
Yes.
But you also had that unique position when he became mayor of Houston as the first daughter.
Oh my gosh, what an honor, what a privilege. And even now I have to really think about how it was such an honor and a privilege to be able to walk with him and to be beside him and behind him for 8 years, to see him thrive in that capacity. I mean, that was his dream.
Yeah.
Being mayor
of
Houston was his dream, and to see him do it, and in my opinion, do it so well, and just to be able to support him, and I got to be his date for a lot of things.
Yeah.
That was fun.
To see him do it, but not only that, he never gave up pursuing that.
Oh,
Because
no.
he went into several
and he made it very clear. Like, this was not easy. This was not handed to me. But it was something that I wanted to do. And when the timing was right, and to me, the timing was perfect for him to be mayor and to sit in that seat at that time.
Yeah, and those 9 disasters that we had to get through.
It was a lot of disasters.
Right. What were some of your earliest memories of your dad, and when did you figure out that he was kind of known about town?
I think it was when we were at the mall one day and everybody kept stopping him. And I was like, do people know you
Yeah,
or something? And he's like, I mean, I do some things, but I didn't have a normal childhood. Most kids, went to the zoo, went to the museum, or to the movies with their parent. I went to community breakfasts and town halls and, pastors' anniversaries and things like that. And so that was my norm. It wasn't until I realized we couldn't go many places without someone saying hello that I'm like, okay, this might be a little different. I don't think this part is normal. But I mean,
But it also gave you a sense of community.
Oh, 100%.
And which is one of the things that he taught you for sure.
Absolutely.
One thing that was really interesting with him is that, we know he had some means.
Yeah.
But he chose to stay in Acres Homes.
Yes. That was that was the community that he grew up in, that he loved so much. And I think also part of the reason why he wanted to stay there is he wanted people to see you can thrive anywhere. Right. You don't have to live in River Oaks or Memorial to be successful and to do all the things that you want to do. You can be in Acres Home, you can be in Sunnyside, you can be in Harlem Clark, you can be wherever you want to be.
And serve as a role model.
Serve.
Because he, as we know, Acres Homes and Sunnyside, those are challenged communities for sure. There's a lot of love there, a lot of spirit there. They're challenged for sure. But I remember him saying, when he grew up there, it's a different time.
Yeah.
But when you say it takes a village, it really represented that, because he said if you did something wrong at the top of the block, somebody's mama came out.
Anybody's mama. Yeah. And then you still have to go home to your mama.
Yeah. And you got set straight through all of it. And then all of a sudden you went home to your mama. And the story may have grown and changed by that time.
But it don't matter. You're still going to get in trouble.
Yeah. We just saw a picture or a video of him there with Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, the late Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who had asked him to run and pick up that seat. But what were some of the biggest lessons that you learned from him?
I think I really learned to be myself, to be true to myself, to be authentic. One thing I learned about my dad is he taught me how to dream, and then he taught me how to accomplish that dream, right? Like, he wanted me to feel like anything that I could think of, I could touch, and that I could accomplish. And what a gift, right? Because I really didn't believe in failure. I really felt like, and he would tell me, you might not get the result that you want, but is it really failure? Because you tried. Yeah. And that's all I can ask of you, is to try.
And he was taught that because
100%.
And he became a master debater in high school. That got him to University of Houston Go Cougs, and then of course to Harvard Law School.
Yes, and we all know he could give a speech like nobody else.
Yes,
like nobody's business. That pastor would come out at the end.
The pastor had to sit down. It'd be like the pastor had a day off. The pastor would be like, "Amen, yes, Lord."
What he said.
What he said. That's exactly. Can you come back next Sunday? Right. But no one ever wants to lose a loved one.
No.
But when you look back, you look at some blessings, if you can call them that. And some of those blessings where he got to witness two really amazing moments in your life. He walked you down the aisle when you got married.
Yes, and that was an amazing, and actually I'm glad that you said that, because in my mourning and in my grief, when the pain is very overwhelming, I always remind myself, my dad walked me down the aisle. My dad saw his grandson and was able to hold him and play with him and pray over him. What more? I mean, of course, we want our loved ones.
Jameson right there.
Look at my little pumpkin. He's just so cute. I'm very biased.
Yeah. I will tell you. I would tell you if it was not true. But yes, he's very cute.
And then just seeing him with my dad. Of course, I wish they had more time together in this space. But someone said to me, "Well, how beautiful is it that you have evidence that they did exist in the same time and space?"
When he's old enough, you can show there's so much video, there's so much documentation that it's almost like he didn't pass away. And you can actually see that because most people don't have that type of documentation.
Absolutely.
Right?
And when my dad went to DC, we would FaceTime with Jameson all the time. So every morning I show him my dad's picture and he responds as if they're on FaceTime. And so I'm like, we're just gonna do this every morning. And it's fine. And it brings me so much joy, a lot of sorrow still, but it does bring me joy that Jameson still has that connection with my dad, even though he's not physically here.
Yeah, all right. You're the executive director of Community Relations at Lone Star College.
I am.
You're a speaker promoting literacy, self-love, and empowerment. You're also a curvy influencer. Look at this outfit she has on today.
I got this from a local boutique, MRE Boutique. And so we're gonna be wearing it up.
Yes, right there. Okay. Look at this in the sequin number too.
That was a number.
Yeah.
That was a look.
Girl.
Oh, that was my recent birthday. That was a look.
Yeah.
I gave some looks.
You gave some looks.
I gave some looks.
When you said curvy influencer, you weren't lying. Okay. No, in fact, instead of lying, you're leoparding right now.
I am leoparding.
Lion, leopard.
And we were almost twinning. Next time we're going to coordinate.
Yeah, because I saw an outfit like this yesterday. I almost wore it. Yes.
Next time we're going to coordinate.
We went at the zoo together. All right. I mentioned earlier that when you serve a community that long and you create these programs, that you're not really gone. So Family Day in the Park. I remember when it first started, and Sylvester Turner Park. I remember when that first opened in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood, right there in the neighborhood that he grew up in. This is the 17th annual one, and how amazing is it that he has an event that's free to the community for 17 years. The first planning session was scheduled on the day of his passing, and so I remember we were preparing for the funeral, and they asked me about it, and I'm like, we are not postponing, we're not rescheduling. My dad would want it to be just like, and to me, it's like another celebration of his life, of an extension of his legacy, and I'm just so excited to celebrate with all of our friends, family, because it feels like a family reunion out there every year.
Yes. And you have like the mamas of the park, the ones that go, hey, you pick up that trash right there. Right?
They are very like, hey, we're going to keep this park clean. Yes. They want their turkey leg for their collard greens later.
Yes, because there's going to be free food, turkey legs, hot dogs, nachos, popcorn, all that stuff.
All the
There's
things.
a kids zone with inflatables, games. You saw some video of when it took place in years past. There'll be a baseball game, and just, there'll be a senior tent.
A senior tent. They get to go sit down. We cater to them, and treat them like the kings and queens that they are.
Bingos, dominoes.
There's a very mean game of bingo.
Now, I'm going to tell you, I might actually play a little. I don't know. It might be too dangerous for those seniors.
Look, it's a very mean game of bingo in that senior tent. I don't even get involved.
Beat 21. Well, it's been a long time since I was 21. 20. Been a long time since I was 20 either. All right. That's Saturday, this Saturday that's coming up. But thank you so much. Great to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
All the great things you're doing. All right. The 17th annual Family Day in the Park is happening this Saturday starting at 2 at Sylvester Turner Park. Remember, it is a completely free event. For more information, visit greatdayhouston.com and we will connect you. We'll be right back.